Hi and welcome to another gaming video, and in today's video I want to talk about the Nintendo Switch and its tabletop mode. If you've got a regular Switch or an OLED, you have three ways of playing it. This one, which is your handheld mode. Then you've got the option to put it on a dock and it comes up on your TV. Then there is a third, and this is a little bit new to me, which is why I'm doing this video, because I owned a Switch Lite, which is, well, it's just handheld mode. It doesn't have the option to plug it into a dock, and it doesn't have a kickstand, so it doesn't really feature tabletop mode, and it doesn't have removable Joy-Cons. But it's a fantastic way of playing the Switch. So all you would need to do is open up the kickstand, take off your controllers or your Joy-Cons, and you have tabletop mode, which means you have the ability to use the Switch as like a little TV or a little screen. You've got your Joy-Cons and you can play your game collection on a little tiny screen without the Joy-Cons attached. So my favourite mode is handheld mode. I've always been a fan of handheld consoles. It is some of the reason I bought a Switch Lite originally. I have become a little bit of a fan of tabletop mode. So I'm not a fan of plugging it into a TV. That isn't for me. I like the fact that you've got sort of a screen with buttons on either side, but this is a unique little new way of playing for me, so I thought I would cover it. I'm not a huge fan of just having the Joy-Cons sort of in each hand. I like, well, it feels a little bit almost Wii-like, and I don't like that. So you can buy things like these. I think you get this with a Switch. This is a Joy-Con grip, and it turns your two separate Joy-Cons into a little controller. I do wish that it was a little bit bigger, more sort of wider controller shaped, but it does give you the option of sort of using a Switch on a whatever screen you've got, a 6.2 if it's a regular Switch, or a 7 if you've got the OLED Switch, and playing it almost like a home console. So controller in your hand, screen over there, albeit a very small screen, but it does mean you can do tabletop mode wherever you feel. So yeah, a bit of a short video, and I'm pretty sure most Switch owners already play and already aware of it. But like I said, I bought my Switch Lite about 2.5 years ago. It was my first venture into the Switch. It didn't feature tabletop mode. I mean, it could have done if you propped it up and attached a second pair of Joy-Cons, but that's a bit of a faff. It obviously doesn't feature TV mode, so it is purely a handheld console. But I've recently upgraded to a Switch OLED. It gives me the option to put it on a TV. Not that's not something that appeals to me. And I've been playing in handheld mode. There is a bit of a weight difference between the Switch Lite and the Switch OLED. I just find sometimes the Switch can get a little heavy for long-term playing. But the alternative you've got is handheld mode. Tabletop mode, where you get the best of both worlds. You've got a little screen in front of you, which you can take anywhere, but you've got a controller. And you can buy different grips. My son had one where they came out more, so it felt more like a controller, or you could just go and buy a Switch Pro controller, which is, it looks like an Xbox controller. But yeah, Switch tabletop mode, it's fantastic. You just take off the Joy-Cons, open the stand up, and put it there, and that is it. Obviously, if you felt like going back to handheld mode, then you would just attach the Joy-Cons back to the side of the Switch, close the stand, and you're back in handheld mode. But yeah, tabletop mode is great. It does have its advantages, and it's a new feature to me. It's probably not a new feature for most Switch owners, but I do like it. So that's tabletop mode. A third option for playing your Switch games. Link, like, subscribe, enjoy.